Welcome back to another episode of your Wellness Friend podcast, your go-to place every Wednesday for gut health tips, real talk, and wellness wins you can actually stick to. I'm your host, Francis, certified wellness coach and your personal guide to feeling amazing in your body, especially if you had your gallbladder removed, dealing with digestive issues, or just want to stop feeling like your food is the enemy. If this show has helped you in any way, would you do me a quick favor? Leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It helps more women like you find this show and start feeling better, faster. And if you're ready to take the next step, head over to my website to learn more about working with me one-on-one. Let's grab your matcha and let's dive in. All right, ladies. So today we are actually doing a different format with our podcast. This time I'm actually doing an interview, which is pretty amazing. My brother, Andres, he is my younger brother, and he is the reason as to why I really kind of started going down the health path. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about his journey with UC and kind of how he just came about. So it's going to be the first kind of intro into hopefully in the future doing some more like interview styles. Ladies, I want to introduce you to my brother, Andres.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, nice to meet you guys virtually.
Yes.
And I'm happy to be on here to talk about some health journeys and health stuff.
Absolutely. And like I said, this is something that's going to be a little different. As you ladies already know, I do go ahead and do things in threes. So we are going to break it down to like 3 segments with this one. So we'll kind of touch base on just how we just got started. So the first segment we're going to be talking about was the diagnose journey. Andres, I'm going to ask you, so can you take us back to when you first started noticing that something was wrong?
Yeah, sure. I would say about 5.5 years, almost 6 years now, is when I first started feeling just digestive issues more than what I usually have. I would say it started with, well, the main thing that actually started was I was doing more bowel movements than normal. I would say it was normal was like two times a day. I noticed that at nighttime specifically, like 8, 9 o'clock at night, I would get like these certain urges of having to go to the bathroom a lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's I was mainly the main thing, and then I would say 2 to 3 weeks after that is when I first started seeing blood in my stool. And that's when I pretty much got like worried.
Right.
Because, everybody goes through like, yeah, you have something you ate, must have messed up your stomach, this and that. But once you see type of blood, then you know it's really an issue. So
absolutely. Yeah, a lot of my followers and clients really are focused on gut health, and that's kind of what I do with more gut health and gallbladder issues. So UC is something that definitely affects the lining of the stomach, as you found out, like with your own doctors and doing follow-ups. And that's something that if you are able to find early enough, you could take care of it. So definitely those early symptoms, not everybody gets blood in the stool, but I know for you in particular, that was really like your first actual like symptoms.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one. What really worried me most.
Right.
Because I've suffered. I mean, I've throughout my whole year. Right now I'm 42.
Mm-hmm.
So I've eaten. So yeah, so that's pretty much basically. Now I'm 42 years old. My whole life I've been eating crappy, fast food, sweet stuff like that. Late night eating, I guess thought it just happened to catch up to me pretty much. But then that's pretty much the main thing. When you see blood, it just makes your eyes open up, like what the hell is going on type of thing.
I have done previous podcast episodes that I've mentioned about like how our upbringing was. I've mentioned about, living a life where we had a lot of McDonald's and we've had a lot of fast food and a lot of, quick eatings and just having to always just scarf down food really fast. And of course, that just doesn't help at all. Yeah. So how long was it until you actually got the actual diagnosis of actually having UC?
I guess it goes to one part too of me being a man. I know of other men that's out there feel the same way, but I'm like, well, I'm okay. I can take care of it myself. And that's pretty much what I tried to do as much as possible. I worked as much as I could. So I'm like, you know what? My health can be on pause. I need money to support my family, my kids, my wife. And that was the main thing. But it took I went to my first doctor, I would say 6 months after I started seeing something, because that's actually when COVID started. It's like, I would eat regular food. I didn't know the whole aspect of UC. I didn't know I had UC. So I would eat certain things, and then I had to like test it. Like, okay, well, that's weird. This will make me bleed more, and this will do that. And I eat regular food, and I'm okay. Every fast food, it'll make me worse. So I just thought it was something that I ate.
Right.
So I would say 6 months within 6 months to a year is when I finally went. I said, no, I can't take this anymore. Let me go to a doctor and just see what's going on, because I never went to a doctor because it's the first thing you think about is like, you got cancer and you're gonna die.
Right. Of course.
And especially as a man, we're thick-headed to be like, nah, I can take care of everything myself.
Agreed.
So it's I would say within the first years when I first started today, well, let me go to the doctors, and they were like, well, you need a colonoscopy first and see what happens and stuff like that. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I pushed that back. I rescheduled it like 2 times
I
because,
believe so. Yeah, I remember.
yeah, I don't want to just it's being scared of saying you got cancer. That's the main thing. But yeah, I would say within the first years, when 6-7 months in, I was like, you know what? Let me just take the next step and try to get answers.
Of course, yeah. So then, how would you describe, like, what was your first reaction when you heard that you had UC?
My first reaction. So my first reaction when I found that I had UC, well, to be honest with you, I didn't even know what UC was.
At all.
I know at the time I spoke to you, because I know you've been dealing with gut health and all this stuff for a while. So I wanted to see if like you knew about it and go from there. Yeah, it's my first reaction when I read everything. I was like, okay, well, right off the bat, it's not cancer.
Right.
But I also was scared because you think, well, you have something labeled already. But right away, my mind was like, you're gonna die. It's like worst case scenario. And of course, you WebMD. Like people say, I'm gonna go WebMD everything.
Yes, Dr. Google.
Yeah, and I hate that because right away I was like, well, they tell you the worst of it first, which the end goal was like, well, we're gonna take out your colon and take out your intestines. And you have to live with a bag on the side of your thing. And so that was basically scared the crap out of me. So it basically pushed me to be like, okay, well, you know what? Let me see. This might take it. I gotta take this real serious, because we have a family, and that's pretty much it. So that was my first reaction when I heard that I had UC.
Okay, and that was gonna be my next question. Like, what was like the turning point in your health that made you say, like, I need to take this seriously? And like you said, it was kind of doing your research and kind of realizing, like, okay, this is not something to mess around with. This is something that can potentially be serious, and I really have to get this taken care of. So, and I know personally, because obviously I'm your sister, I know how this definitely affected you, but kind of how would you really kind of put in a short sentence, like how this affected your work, like your relationship, and just like your daily routines?
It pretty much took over my life. I mean, if people that research UC and they know, like, it's the first thing the doctor even asks you, well, how many times you do bowel movements a day?
Right.
And me personally, now when I say me personally, I mean me personally. Like, I'm a type of guy that I don't like using the restroom in public places. So, but the fact is, like, if you have UC, you have no choice. You have to go, no matter where you're at. And that took over my life in work aspect, because I go to a job that I'm not comfortable going to use the bathroom, for example. It's like I didn't want to go to work. Like it got me depressed. Yeah. It's constant. And I'm pretty sure, like, depression, gut health is a big, big thing of depression.
I actually have one of my previous actual podcast episodes. I just finished doing how, your gut is pretty much your second brain. And that's exactly that. Like, everything that happens in your gut affects your brain. So 100%. And sadly, like, UC does have a shame around it, which it really shouldn't, because it's just something that your body is just, and I say that pretty often to a lot of people, and I say often on this podcast that your body is telling you, your body is a temple. Like, God gave you this body for a reason. And even in the intro, it says it, like, how you don't want the food or your body to feel like it's fighting against you, and when you find something like this out, I could see how the shame that gets put around it, man or woman, is going to make you feel some kind of way, and it definitely will lead into possible depression.
Yeah it basically takes a toll on somebody that's not. There's some people out there that just don't care. A lot of people that do care and stuff like that, and it took over just like my job aspect. I didn't want to go to work, even when my wife would be like, oh, let's go out. Like, we can't go out to eat, can't go to dinner, we can't go to certain places. The first thing you think about is like, oh, let's go to the movies. Yeah, but like, how many times do I have to use the bathroom? How many times I'm going to be in pain. I'm not going to enjoy anything. You know, it this literally takes over your life fully. It's crazy.
Agreed, that's for sure. And that kind of leads into the next one. So the next segment would be more about like treatment, diet, lifestyle, because once you found out that you had UC, you kind of accepted it, you were able to really wrap your mind around it, and it did become, like you said, you fully immersed into it. You fully were like, living that every single day nonstop. It's like, okay, now it's like once you get the reality of, okay, cool, I got this. Now I need to treat it. Like, what am I going to do? Because I remember many, many conversations you've had, like we'll sit there and you and I will have multiple conversations. And I will send you constantly everything that I was reading and I was looking and I was trying to find out. And we just really had to go into like a deep dive of it. So, so with the doctor now, you had the actual treatment. What kind of like treatments and medication were you like prescribed in the beginning?
So I'm a type of person that like once, let's just say you have a headache, I take Motrin, I'm good. That's it. I went to 3 doctors total. The first doctor gave me a medication which was mesalamine, which I noticed that all the 3 doctors I went to pretty much gave me the same thing until I found, which we'll talk about later. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Yeah. The last doctor I have gave me like a holy grail that would actually
Amen.
solve majority of this stuff like that. But like I said, keep listening to the end. So mesalamine is basically the number one. It's like a Tylenol to a headache. You know, well, Tylenol doesn't work. You need this or that. So mesalamine was what was the main first thing. They have it in pill form, which will basically go to your stomach and help any type of stuff with irritables and pain, discomfort, and inflammation. Mesalamine, they also have suppositories. Suppositories, and they also have enemas. So I was prescribed the pills, which at that time I think it was 2 pills because you can take up to 4 a day. But they took 2 pills every day in the morning, and then the enema at nighttime, which is like a foam. Just a liquid, which is very uncomfortable to the fact of like it's different. Not uncomfortable like, okay, oh my god, it hurts, but it's just like anybody knows, enema. The word enema is not really like the best thing, but
agreed.
But when you go through this, it's like, you know what, you get to a point that I have to do what I have to do. So
I guess it makes you desperate because when you want to just be quote unquote normal again. So it's like that's kind of where you're at. So, and then are you still on any of those medications now?
It's been the first doctor gave me the mesalamine. It didn't work fully. I would say it worked maybe like 60%.
Right.
And then they gave me something, I don't know, that there's 2 different words, medical terms for it. I don't know the name of it specifically off the top of my head, but it's like a steroid foam. It's also an enema, but you do that the first time that actually worked, and I was in remission. Yeah, so then after I did that first dose, I got into remission, and it was actually about 6 or 7 months. And it UC is weird because like not only do you have to watch what you eat, but you have to like write it down and document it because there's certain things that might not bother you during, but could bother you after.
Okay.
Like for example, when I was in remission, I thought I was, oh my god, I'm cured, I'm good. 6, 7 months down the road, I had chicken and broccoli from a Chinese restaurant, and then I read that broccoli is the worst when you have UC. It hit me and it flared up again, and the flare-ups for some reason that's why I was worried, because my flare-ups took like a year. Some people, I read so much stuff online. People were like, oh, I flared up for 2 months, 3 months. Someone said 6 months. I was literally flared up for like a year. But I was like, well, I have to work. And I was still taking the same medication that they gave me. But it got to a certain point, they were like, no, like those medications didn't work.
Right.
So the second doctor I went gave me mesalamine again. Went to another doctor because I want another opinion. Did a colonoscopy again. Gave me mesalamine, but this time gave me like 3 pills. And then said, do the same thing to take the enema at nighttime, but then also take suppository in the morning. Long story short, what they do is they give you mesalamine, and then they give you the foam. And if that doesn't work, then you go to the next step, which is what the third doctor, final doctor, which is supposedly, I'm currently living in New York. So the number one gastroenterologist in New York was actually with a place that I worked at. So I went to her and did everything, and they gave me something else, which is another medication called biologics. And that right there, like, pretty much saved my life.
Amen. Yeah, that definitely, I remember that. Has definitely changed. That was a big one for you. But yeah, we'll definitely kind of circle back to that one. So kind of like to go back to kind of in regards to like them in the beginning, what changes did you have to make in your diet and your lifestyle, and was that hard for you? And then when you made those changes, like what did you feel like you missed the most at first?
Okay. Well, I know I told you numerous times, I'm an emotional eater.
Yeah. And that's something that we actually have very similar, because you will hear in my first podcast, that's actually a big thing. I actually mentioned that I was very much an emotional eater, because I really just, when I was sad, I would grab cookies. If I was sad, I had a cake. I would have a Pepsi.
Yep.
Like I would do that. So we were both we're still very much emotional people, and food is definitely the comfort.
Yeah. So that was pretty much the biggest change for me, because not only was I depressed because I had this disease, it's basically like, well, you're an emotional eater, you're depressed, you have to eat. Well, guess what? You can't eat like 90% of the stuff that I liked before. I mean, growing up in the household that we grew up in, is like we had a lot of, I mean, not really the healthiest stuff, and that's what we liked. So, and it's basically saying, well, I can't have 90% of that stuff, and it was bad. It was, it made me even more depressed, you know. But I mean, I had to just suck it up and do it, because at the same time, you realize, well, you know what, this is for your health, you know, it's for your kids, and you know, you gotta be there for your wife and everything else. So,
what did you miss the most at first? Like, what was like your comfort food that you were
fast food? Yeah, definitely fast food. I mean, the fact that my kids wanted McDonald's every single week, it killed me.
Yeah.
It killed me, yeah.
I mentioned that as well on my podcast, that like White Castle was something that I was oh my God, I would go in and I would tell people, I told them about how I would sit there and have like a double quarter pounder. I would have 20 piece. I would have nuggets. I mean, now I've been almost 2 years without no McDonald's, and I have no desire to go back. I don't even desire it. The smell doesn't bother me. So I'm cool with it now, but in the beginning, that was a hard one for me too. I don't know what they put in that freaking McDonald's.
Yeah, I know. It's weird because you say that, because when you don't have it for a long time, you actually start to smell like the grease. You start to smell the badness of it. Like, yo, meanwhile, when you in it, you in it.
Yep.
And it's just like, yo, this just smells good. I want this. I want this. And now it's just like, no, you can't. It's so bad. It's so bad for you.
It really is.
But if anybody out there has not had White Castles, I don't know what y'all missing.
Yes.
So get White Castle before it gets too late, like me, and you can never have it again in your life.
So true. Okay. Yes. That was something that I grew up personally, because my high school had a White Castle right next to it. And then when I moved to Orlando, they actually have a White Castle here. And I'm not going to lie, I've had it every once in a while, but I already know, just like with your flare-ups and kind of like how you change your diet, I already know that I'm going to be in pain for a couple of days after eating it. Sometimes I'll just take the L and I'll just have it anyway. I'll be like, it's fine. It's no problem.
If you want to eat White Castle for the first time, make sure you go to New York.
Yes,
the New York White Castle is better anywhere else.
Sorry, Linda, I have to agree on that part. Okay, so what kind of support did you need or wish that you had during like your worst flare-ups? Because nobody in the family has this. Like really, nobody in the family has ever. I mean, we have gut issues in the family. Like our mom definitely suffers from gut issues, and we have other aunts and uncles who had gut issues. Our dad used to have diabetes. You know, we definitely we're not new to that, but no one ever has been diagnosed with UC though.
Yeah, it's funny when you grow up in a Hispanic household. You know, the type of food we eat,
everything's fried.
Everything's fried. Everything's just like greasy. Everything's like that. You know, I'm not saying this against anybody in pennies in the bunch.
Exactly.
All right, it's reality. If you're a Hispanic out there living up, you know you had that arroz con dule, all that stuff like that. You know, that's pernil. Oh, come on. Pernil.
Sorry.
That grease. Oh, you pour that grease on the white rice. Okay, let's change it. So, but support wise, I mean, it's weird because they look at you like, well, out of nowhere, especially family members I used to go to, family house or something like that. They're like, oh, you know, they look at you like, oh, you're on a special diet. Like, no, it's not a special diet. It's a life change. Like, there's no way around it. I can't just say, I don't want to eat pernil today. Like, I cannot eat it anymore.
I physically can't.
Yeah, I cannot eat it anymore because it's medically unable. I can't, you know. So the support that, I mean, I got support from my wife. I got support, you know, from people after they realized that it wasn't like, okay, it's just a stomach ache. Like like a doctor, legit, 3 certain doctors literally tell you the same exact thing. And medically, blood tests, colonoscopies, like you can literally see the pictures from the colonoscopies of the inflammation. Like I had 9 inches of my colon from my like of my colon. I don't really know. I mean, from
from the actual like the rectum
yeah, the
itself up
rectum.
and up. You would just
Exactly. It was 9 inches up, and you just see, I mean, inflammation and just
and that's really where all the bleeding was coming from because it
yeah.
was just like having a scab that when you used the restroom and you had bowel movement,
Mm-hmm.
you were just constantly removing that scab. So that's something
Oh
that,
yeah.
Honestly, if not treated properly, that's
I
a
mean,
big
it was
issue.
to a point like I'm gonna keep it real
Mm-hmm.
with you as my sister. I'm gonna keep it real to listeners
Mm-hmm.
because this is real. Can I
Yeah,
curse? It's real shit. All
exactly.
right, that's how real it is. Like this
Yeah.
is. I'm not
Uh-huh.
reading this off of a computer. I'm telling you exactly how I'm feeling, and especially as a man. And the only person I can talk to is my sister, and I feel comfortable about this. So I'm telling
Mhm.
everybody else out there
Yep.
because she's telling you the real, and she wants to help everybody in this world get better, not only gut health but better in general in life.
Amen.
Yeah. See, I'm speaking this,
Okay.
right? But yeah, it's. I don't mind talking about this, but it was get to a point that's like that. I was on the using the bathroom, and blood was literally just coming out.
Yeah. I
You know what I'm
remember
saying?
that. I remember that.
And it's like this, and people didn't understand it. They were like, "Oh, you just can't eat. You just can't eat. You
Yeah.
just can't eat." So like, I needed support from everybody to understand that, like, blood work and all the stuff like that told you, like, yo, this is legit.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I mean, that's kind of like a good segue into kind of the next segment, which is going to be more about like the mental and the emotional side. And I know, like I said, I am his older sister, so being here for him has always been my purpose, and I will always. It's him and I against everybody. That's how my mom raised us, or our mom raised us, and we are always in each other's corner, no matter what.
Yeah.
So, of course, from a sibling side, seeing him in such pain, seeing how much it took a not only physical but a mental toll on him. And as he said, I have my niece and my nephew and my sister-in-law. Oh, that's a great support. But yeah, it really comes down to that. Like as a man, there's certain things that just have to be. It's required of a man, good godly man. It's required of that. When you have to turn to them and tell them that you're not at your top performing mentally and physically, that takes a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and I'm thankful that you opened up to me in the time that you needed to really go ahead and just kind of share things with me
Yeah,
and
of
kind of
course.
really leave that door and allow for me to give this the safe space so you could have this conversation, because living with UC really has affected mental health, so
Yeah.
if you could tell my listeners like what kind of mental state were you in, like your strong times and your hard times and then your not so hard times.
It goes back to the same thing of being a man. Like, sometimes you were like, well, I had to do it. I had to suck it up and do it. But I would say it's probably the first time in my life that I actually had to like sit down and break down
Yeah.
and realize that it's tough, and it's like I need the help. As a man, you're like, well, I could do it myself. I could do it myself. But it took a toll. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was depressed.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to do anything. At certain times it was rough. It's like it never got to a point that I wanted to do anything to myself because
Thankfully,
that's
amen.
nothing. Like, I don't believe in
Mm-hmm.
that. Because I have God to get
Exactly.
me through those times.
He is our healer and our protector,
Oh
so
yeah,
100%.
yeah, of course.
Yep.
So, but at that time, there was definitely very, very hard times, and took a toll on my marriage, and
Mm-hmm.
because at that point, like, you like forget the whole world type of thing, like,
Yeah.
including my wife and kids, and I look back at that and get upset at myself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's my mental state at that during those times was just. I see myself now looking back at that like it's a totally different person. But it takes a toll on anybody. It takes a toll on anybody.
And thankfully, like I said, God gave you a strong woman. And I say that
Oh
many times
yeah.
to so many of my clients and even to people that I see in passing. I actually just came across a gentleman at the wellness center that I was at who sadly had a stroke just this past February. And he was
Wow.
broke down and he's like, my wife wasn't meant to take care of me. And I told him, I said, but God gives men strong women. If it's a godly made marriage, God will
Mm-hmm.
give you your spouse, your woman, to take care of you in the time where needed. And that's where my sister-in-law really stepped up and kind of held down the home and was able to really be the support that you needed. And that was strong. I mean, it was hard on her as well, but that's something that speaks volumes and that helps to grow a marriage. You
Yeah.
guys have gone through a hard time, so that definitely shows.
Yeah. held it down, man. I don't got a good one. I got a great one.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
so God blessed me with her, and she I would say in the past year and a half, I took my health extremely important that I had to leave or bring down my job duties a lot more than what I should do to
Mhm.
take care of myself. And she held it down. So my number one support was pretty much her. You know,
Amen.
still is to this day.
Amen.
But that's what part of a marriage is. So
That it is. That it is.
yeah,
And I mean, definitely, I know when you and I even had that conversation, we were talking about, you kind of taking that step back from work. Even that, I remember us having that conversation. That was even a hard decision for you because you're like, what does that look like? And that's, I'm pretty sure a lot of my listeners having a spouse or having someone in your family that directly impacts you and like your lifestyle. It's hard. It's hard to be able to take that step back because we live in a world where, as I said in another previous podcast, it's so go that we don't have a chance to just slow down. And it's like I've said many times before, and I said it in another podcast earlier, that I said, if you don't slow down, your body will make you slow down.
but
Your
yeah,
body will tell you, okay, cool. You don't want to give me what I need. I'm taking it. Yes, unfortunately, it was very dramatic what happened to you because it is still very dramatic, but it's something that your body was like, okay, either you stop or I'm going to make you stop. And your body made you stop.
yo,
That's
yeah.
really what it did. So what do you think is like your shift now that you are starting to heal? So kind of let's circle back to that third doctor that was a blessing and kind of really got you on a path to being healed. I'm going to proclaim it is being healed.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
gotta think positive first. First of all, you gotta think positive. So like the third doctor pretty much did the same thing as the other ones, but a few extra things like extra blood tests and extra another medication, and then it went from there to be like, you know what, this doesn't work. She was really on top of everything. So and the third one was the biologics.
Yep.
The biologics is like the next thing. You do something called an infusion, where you pretty much sit there at at the doctor's, and they put the medicine through an IV for like 45 minutes to an hour. I'm guessing it's like a big steroid, like a bigger type of steroid type of thing. But that right there pretty much changed my life, and the fact of like within 3 to 4 weeks.
You start seeing
Like,
that difference.
yeah, 3 to 4 weeks, it just started slowing down. The bowel movement stopped as many as possible. The blood stopped, and just in general, and I do it every 8 weeks, so every 2 months, I get it done. But the fact of knowing that it's there, because I was really skeptical at first,
Yeah, I was about to say that.
because it's I had a medicine before that worked, and then I ate something 6 months later, got into another flare up, tried the same medication, it didn't work. So I'm like, oh my god, like is this gonna work again? So you're very doubtful, and you have that doubt in you. And but like what's changed now, especially with this, is just my mood. I'm not depressed anymore. I'm happy. I'm okay to go outside. I'm okay to do things and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I remember when everything started, like you finally got the fusion because, as my listeners know, I do work in a wellness center. I do have IVs that we give to our clients, and I constantly speak to clients all the time. I let them know how different it is when you're getting pills versus an IV. Pills you have to go through a lot just to get to the main source in the body. It has to go into the system, has to go through your esophagus, your stomach. There's a lot of acid. So if the pill itself is not strong enough, it's not really going to reach the stomach where it needs to do the healing. Where an IV, it goes right into the blood and goes directly to the source. So that's even, like I said, it's amazing that this doctor took that extra steps and took an extra time
Oh yeah.
just to like really find out what it is that you needed. Because that's honestly, like I tell a lot of the listeners, tell a lot of my clients, you have to keep on going until you find what's going to work for you. Like, don't give up on that. And it
It's
has been.
it's funny because I tell a little bit of the journey when it comes to that. Me personally, I worked in hospitals since
Mm-hmm.
I was 19 years
Yeah,
old. So
right out of high school.
that's why I know that God is real, and I believe God puts you in
Mm-hmm.
certain places for a reason. I actually got a job in that same department
Mm-hmm.
like 6 months before that. So that's when I saw that doctor. I was like, whoa, let me see this doctor. She's supposed to be the best one. Boom. And I feel like God put me there for that reason.
Amen.
Like I was there to see that doctor. He was like, well, you can't get away from it this time. You're right there in the trenches. You had to do
Mm-hmm.
it. And I literally was being surrounded by it because not only was I in the same department, but I was getting authorization for the same people that had the same illness that I had. So I would see their their struggles and hear them talk and see what they're going through and stuff like that. I didn't feel alone, exactly. And I'm looking at it like, okay, well, I'm not the only one out there with this, which I knew it already, but being firsthand, seeing that, it just opens up your eyes and just like, wow, like there's people out there that actually have it worse than me. Sadly, but they're getting cured by doing these specific things. And I'm like, okay, but then what am I worried about? Because that goes back to the same thing I said before. Like you hear something about, oh, you got this, you're gonna die. You got cancer, you got this, you're gonna die. And it's another story for another time. Thyroid stuff like that. Exactly. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit up and make sure you listen to all these podcasts, of course, to show that love out there.
Absolute.
But yeah, it's to be surrounded by that stuff like that, and they put me in there for a reason, to see the positivity of these biologics and what it does for you. It actually was inspiring, so that's why I was more comfortable to get it, and I can tell you firsthand that they work.
It is, thankfully, amen. We're currently on a family trip at the moment, which is really great. And even the fact that he is not having to worry about going out and having to use the bathroom or just to be uncomfortable and things like that. Just seeing that and just in this visit this time around has been amazing, has really, really been amazing. And I said it's 100%. It's only God said 100%. Now, kind of like circling now to answer my other question, what advice would you give to someone who just got diagnosed with UC? Or like, if it was a partner or someone who they loved, like what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't worry. That's the first thing. Don't worry. Don't go to that rabbit hole of going online and searching bad stories and what everybody goes through. Like that was me. My advice is don't let it get to you, to the fact that it takes over your life. There is a cure out there for it. Not 100% cure. You can be cured from it if you do the right things. Don't let it take over your life. Make sure you stay on top of it. You have to, unfortunately, change your whole lifestyle, change the way you eat, change the way you move, do things, this and that. But it's just, it's not the end goal. That's the thing. It's not the end of your life, because that's what I read every time. Everything's like, oh, this and that, this and boom, boom. It's all negativity.
Doom and gloom.
Yeah, and it's just, that's why I get rid of all that stuff. And so, you know what works for me is not going to work for you, but what works for you might not work for me. So it depends. Like, but there's so many things out there. Like the biologics I take is only one of, I believe, 5 or 6 that I know of.
Oh, wow.
So they said, well, if this doesn't work eventually, then we'll go on to another one. We'll go on another one. So like,
there's something out there for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amen. Yes,
that's what you do.
I tell my podcast, the listeners a lot. I speak all the time. I am a Christian. We are Christian. We do pray to God. We do believe in Him. We do know that He is the one who is fully all about it. So if with Him, everything is possible.
Amen.
Everything is possible. So kind of wrap it all up a little bit. So it's been amazing. We've been talking for a little bit of time, which is great, and I love it. It's the first time I'm doing this, like more like a interviewee kind of style.
Now, can they comment? Can leave comments?
They can leave comments. So they leave reviews.
Maybe you can leave a comment if you want to hear
some more.
Maybe a brother sister podcast when it comes to it. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? So
it's like we don't even.
That you guys are gonna be like, yo, like,
right? What's going on? We're like siblings. Oh my god! And the next segment was going to be the family connection. Yeah. So and that's just honestly like, what was something that you wish that we as a family would have done a little bit better or could have done a little bit differently?
Be healthier.
Be healthier. That's true.
Because it goes back to the same thing. Growing up, being in a Hispanic household, like my friends used to be like, we don't even eat rice. We have vegetables all the time. And now it's like, at my age, vegetables are nasty. But now
I gotta show him how to make it, guys. How to make good vegetables.
And then there's a lot of things I think you made before and other things like that I tasted and it's good. Yeah. Even with UC, I feel like I can't have vegetables because that's the thing when it comes back to that too. Asparagus.
Right.
Oh, broccoli. I'm sorry, broccoli. Mm-hmm. I've been eating broccoli. Was one vegetable that I've eaten my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm getting broccoli, beef and broccoli. I love that. And now to tell me like, oh, you can't have it. Yeah. It's like, wow. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, we didn't eat it the whole time growing up, and I think the main thing is to stay healthier because you see a lot of people dying from all these diseases and stuff like that, and all the stuff that you tell me about with food and
Yeah.
Red 40, and,
Yeah.
all the Hispanics out there know you gotta put
Yes.
that sazon on some stuff.
I've told them a couple of times.
Shit.
I put a few links in my previous podcast talking about finding a more healthier version of the Spanish
Mm-hmm.
food. Like I said, we don't do adobo in the house. I haven't done adobo, like I said in another I haven't done it for decades. I don't even know what adobo is anymore. That's the
So
most
you
nastiest.
can tell I'm a fat ass because you said links. I thought sausage links.
See?
And I'm like, pause. I'm like, yo,
like that sounds delicious.
sausage. Oh,
That's
but
exactly what we need.
and actually, it goes back to another thing before you said when it comes to advice, read labels.
Yes.
There's so many things out
Oh
there
my
that I
goodness.
read that I didn't. I would just eat. For example, cold cuts
Yeah.
has milk in it.
Yes.
Like, who even thought a cold cuts is made with milk? Like, I wouldn't think that.
Nope.
So it's you read labels and you look at all this stuff like that and you realize that so much stuff that's bad for you, and there's also
It's
alternatives out, and there's so many alternatives out there that might not taste 100% the same. Gluten-free Oreos.
Yes.
I eat that every day.
Agreed.
If y'all want a snack out there who have UC that it won't bother you, gluten-free Oreos. Vanilla ones. The vanilla ones the one I eat.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't bother me at all. And I eat that, and that's my snack. That's my what they call that?
That's your guilty pleasure.
Yeah, my guilty pleasure. There you go.
Yep.
So it's but stay healthy. That's the thing growing up, especially now. It's never too late to stay healthy.
Exactly.
So, or flip it to be healthy. That's what I say.
And now, of course, you know that you have been a very big part of my journey to become more of a health coach and to kind of really go and head in this direction because, like I said before, our mom and our dad have both suffered from health issues, and we've had, aunts and uncles that have also had cancer and who also have issues. And, our generation, we both, I have my 2 kids, I have my niece and my nephew, and this is something that we don't ever want to pass on to them because things do pass on. People say some things are genetic, they are, but there's some things that can't be prevented because if you change your lifestyle and your eating habits, some of those things do not have to be passed on. Like I said before, diabetes is not really, and people come at me, I'm sorry, but I believe that sometimes, unless you were physically born with diabetes, that comes with your eating habits and all the stuff that you've had over time, and those are things it can be turned around. I just want to ask you, like, how like, give me your perspective on how you see or how you feel watching me become like a wellness coach.
It actually gives me a peace of mind, but at the same time I see like you taking serious and it someone to lean on. Like I would say, like, I'm not saying this because you're my sister or like that and we speak and stuff like that, but like there's people out there that look for someone that doesn't have anybody that's going through the same thing. It's the same thing like me. Like I would say, well, who can I speak to that knows stuff? Like, it's you as a coach. Like I've always known, especially growing up, that you are such a people person. You always try to help people. I mean, people saying like in the bed, oh, they have the word of mouth or what's to say like that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like bad. But you're not like that. Like you can, if you don't know something, it's like you learn it. If they let me look it up, boom, and you learn it, stuff like that. So you being as a coach just like made my life easier because if I didn't know something, I'm like, oh, well, if I tell you something, you're like, oh, let me look it up and I'll get back to you. And when you get back to me and say, oh, do this, and then you give me ingredients and stuff like that. Try this and try that type of stuff. So like even before you were even a coach, you were a coach. So
amen to that one. I'll take it.
So it's without even knowing it. I'm like, yo, like it found like maybe you found your calling type of thing because you've been doing this for a long time. But like I said, I'm proud of you doing this in general. Like what I'm saying. Like we talk about this numerous times. When we come in, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And you just gotta suck it up and do it, and exactly what you did. So I mean, I'm not saying that because you're my sister and I love you, but like out of all the wellness coaches in the world, you're in the top 2.
I love it. Wait, who's that?
I can't tell you that. The podcast, you're gonna be number 1 because get them likes up, get them reviews, get all that stuff like that.
Exactly. No, this is something that 100%. We've been talking about this for quite some time. And it's something that we've both have because we're both aspiring entrepreneurs and something that we always wanted to do. And I think once we find our niche and we find our kind of once we find our area and we go with it, God's going to just open doors. And that's exactly what's happened to this podcast. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna wrap it up because we've been talking for a hot minute and it's been really natural. I think this was a natural conversation. We talk anyway, but I think this time it was a little bit different because we have mics in our hand and we're like kind of following a script, but kind of just stay on point. But honestly, this conversation is kind of what we have anyway. Like it made it more natural. The beginning was a little shaky because we're like getting used to it, but then after you start talking for a while, it just becomes
it was
who you are.
It was natural.
Exactly.
That's why I like this stuff. So if anybody stood here to the end, thank you. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, stuff like that, definitely hit up Francis because you know she got the answers.
I do. If not, if I'll find it for you though. I want you to know. So I would say, is there anything that you want to leave the listeners who may be having a similar journey, or they want to really just kind of find out kind of what to do? Like, what would be something what would be like that lasting note to leave for listeners who may be feeling this way?
I would say something feels weird, just don't ignore it. Definitely get checked out. Man, female, doesn't really matter what it is. Don't be stubborn. Just get it checked out because you never know.
Exactly.
And it's literally can either save or end your life.
Yeah. 100%. All right, guys. Well, ladies, thank you so much for listening to this bonus episode. This is going to be a bonus episode because I had the segments already played out, but I wanted to just throw something in a little bit different.
Wow. I'm a bonus.
You are a bonus. You ladies have been a bonus to hearing this conversation. And hopefully we'll do it again. I think we could do this again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely have
a conversation.
We
live in different states. It doesn't
100%.
really matter. We do it easily.
We could definitely do it anyway.
If they want to hear anything else like that, I mean...
Yeah, definitely leave comments, leave any questions below. As I said before, and I say every episode, you guys could go ahead and go onto my website, reach out with me, book a discovery call so we could chit chat. All the links will be down below. You could be able to reach out to me. But other than that, thank you very much for being my first one-on-one guest.
Yeah, you all know. Thank you.
And then we're family. So
for some reason, it felt very comfortable. It's like I know you.
Exactly. Like I've met you somewhere.
I know, you look very familiar.
Exactly. But other than that, ladies, I want to thank you very much for staying with me. And we'll talk soon. God bless, guys. Take care. Bye.